Welcome to Commanding Camera Confidence, the show where we explore the exciting world of expression shots and how they can elevate your brand to new heights. I'm Lamonte Gwynn, your host and expression coach, and I'm thrilled to have you join me on this journey. As someone who's worked with countless entrepreneurs, business professionals, and organizational leaders and their teams to capture their best selves on camera, I know how important it is to command camera confidence in front of the lens. Together, we'll deep dive into the technical and psychological aspects of expression shots and share tips and tricks to help you unlock your full potential. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, here on Commanding Camera Confidence, we'll uncover the secrets to taking expression shots that captivate and convert your target audience. Welcome to Commanding Camera Confidence. I am your host, Lamonte Gwynn, and I am excited to be here. I believe that being photogenic starts within, and I help people tap into their inner photogenic magnetism to bring it out for the world to see. Who do I work with? I work with entrepreneurs, business professionals, and organizational leaders in their teams to help them take captivating expression shots that convert and captivate their target audience. I'm so happy to be here. We are today talking about stepping outside your comfort zone. And I have with me a gentleman today that I've actually seen for years here in Orlando. There's an organization called FAVOB. It's the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses. And I've seen him at events. And when I tell you, when he walks into the room, this brother, he's got this confidence about him that draws people to him. And I was drawn to him, and I reached out to him recently to ask him to join me on an exploration. And the result of it was phenomenal. And we're here to talk about that today. So again, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching live, put in hashtag live. If you're watching on a replay, put in hashtag replay. Please comment, share. We want to hear from you. All right, it's not going to be a long, drawn out conversation, but I do want to have it with my friend. He is a leadership coach, a leadership development coach. And I asked him, how would you describe yourself? And he says he's a servant leader that knows the power of coaching and how it transforms people's lives. And that's what he does. And I'm so happy to have him on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Enrique Acosta Gonzalez. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, brother. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I want to thank you because you are my very first guest on the show. And I want to thank you for taking your time out of your schedule today to have this conversation with me about stepping outside your comfort zone. You and I had an experience of working together. I reached out to you. I said, hey, I'd like to bring you in and do a session with you because my goal is to work with leaders. And so I wanted to bring you in. But before we jump into all of that, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you actually got into leadership development coaching.
Well, thank you for that. So 26-year Navy veteran, retired in 2015, had a blast, toured the world, met tons of people. And it was there where leadership development began. Undoubtedly, everybody that served knows that at one way or another, you're going to lead. And if you can't lead, you got to get out of the way. So I was able and fortunate to rise up the ranks, was able to become a command senior chief, where you're basically the senior enlisted leader of the entire command, responsible for the training, caretaking of both the enlisted force and the junior officers as a chief, and was able to develop strategies for myself, but those that worked for others. And through that process and those years of being a senior enlisted leader, I was enamored with leadership, the science of it, the practice of it, and the results of it. So that's how I got into it and decided when I retired that, hey, let me try my hand at some workforce opportunities. And that was great, but it wasn't my passion. And so 5 years later, or actually 3 years later, saw myself with an opportunity to transition and do this full time. And that's how I got here.
Wow. Wow. So first I want to say thank you for your service. It's so interesting. I have a friend who I'll introduce later to you, who is actually doing coaching too. And that, hearing your story is the same as his. You go into the military as a young person, and you're thrown into leadership like almost immediately.
Oh, yes.
And that that process has a way of creating in you that leadership that when you come out into the real world and you don't see it, it's like, listen, I got to help some people. Right?
You're not lying about that.
Right. So thank you so much for that. And so, you were minding your business, right? And one day I send you a message. I send you a message and I say, hey, brother, I'd like to work with you because I've watched you over the years, and I wanted to provide some assistance through my Expression Coaching brand. And so you accepted it. And can you tell us a little bit about what you experienced during that experience?
Well, I'll tell you that the experience started in the ask, right? And for those of you that are trying to get business or trying to go down the road of getting yourself noticed or having your work noticed, it begins with the ask. So if you're not asking right, you might not get right. So Lamont, you asked, and I looked, and I tell you, I'll look at every message that comes through that message board, and depending on how it's structured is how I reply. And I'll tell you, not many people get yes. So you approached the experience centered on me, and I think that's the first thing that I took out of it. I do know that obviously it's an exposure all of your business, of what you can do. And as a leadership developer, the first thing that I thought was, give the brother a chance. Give him a chance. What's gonna hurt? What is it gonna hurt? So anyway, the ask was appropriate. The ask was timely. A lot of people don't understand. Sometimes when you ask, it's just not the right time. Mm-hmm. It's not that it's wrong or that it's not good. So anyway, I get through that whole process internally, right? As I dissect this ask, and we set it up. And so if anything, that set the experience up for success right off the bat. And so for those listening, look at how you're approaching your clients and your service base and how you're positioning yourself, and concentrate on the person receiving. So, hey, we get together. I show up at the studio. I already had an idea of, hey, this is going to be shots. You see the shots behind you, right? I thought that it was going to look like that. But because we're talking about, stepping outside of your comfort zone, that what that you see behind you is my comfort zone. Smile, this, that, and the other. You took me a different direction, right? You took me through an exploratory journey from where I was to where I potentially want to see myself. And you didn't dictate the journey. You facilitated every step. And so that's how the experience I felt was the most beneficial.
Yeah. It's so interesting when I do this with folks to see what they see for themselves, right? You could tell people, oh, this is good for you, or this is good for you, or this is good for, but if they don't believe it, it's not going to work. but to be able to hear people's dreams and to see where they want to go and to actually bring that to fruition almost in solidifying it in the mind, visualizing it, and then putting it inside of a photo. It's just really, really a great process to take people through. And when I tell you, it's just a beautiful thing to see, because what I get to see is people going a place that they probably haven't gone before, and a place that they really need to go. And it's a place that is it's tied in with their personal and professional success, right? I want to see the best for the people that walk into my studio, and I think through this process, that's what we do. So you go to the photo, you go through the whole thing. And one of the things I asked you, and I'll ask you at the end of the show, but I asked you a question, and then I send you the proofs. Now here's the funny thing. Interestingly, I usually will take and we'll walk through the process together and we'll select the final images. But because we did in studio and out of studio, we spent a lot of, some time. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I said, I'll send you the proofs.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the proofs, and let's take a look at what you select. So these are the photos that you select. Walk me through this.
Yeah, that's me on a day-to-day basis. Are you going to see a smiling brother, well-suited? Today I'm wearing my company shirt, but very familiar with a suit, very familiar with a smile. And yeah, this is what people know me of.
Yeah, right. And when I saw the selection, what I saw was the same expression throughout. And what I remembered was you and I going through a journey. Mm-hmm. And so what I did is I called you and I said, can I just share something with you? Because one of the things I never want to do is impose my opinion on other people. But I'd like to at least, I've been doing this for 14 years. I'd like to at least give my professional opinion and help guide you, my clients, through this process. And so I asked you, would you consider, let's have a conversation, because I wanted to first understand why you selected them, and then to kind of see if we could take a look at, because certain photos we infuse certain energy into, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what was that conversation like for you?
Well, like I said at the beginning, it's in the ask, and the second time you approached me in a conversation was via the message that you sent, and you simply said, hey, I noticed the pictures you selected. Is there any way we can speak so that I can add value to the selection that you sent me? And at that point, I realized that I may have selected something outside of the conversation we had. So I said, sure, let's talk. And sure enough, we were talking and you discussed, hey, remember we was going through the journey, yada, 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 yada. I said, yeah. These pictures looked like a comfortable you, right? And we had made some selections in the studio of people in the future, right? And so what I realized was that, and by the way, these were 3 selections that were corporate selection. This wasn't just me. I showed my wife the proofs. We was like, oh, this one, this one, this one. And you had discussed earlier, but I don't have no problem coming into a room and commanding the attention.
Right.
And so I think this was more like a safe pictures, right? Because the other pictures we had decided that were impactful, from the perspective of my wife, were gonna be impactful. And even my son was like, "Oh yeah, that's gonna get you in trouble, brother." So, these were comfortable pictures that I would be comfortable in sharing with the masses. They are, and they do capture the essence of who I am, but that's not what the journey was for. The journey
Right.
was for to capture the essence of who I would be.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, yeah, I could see in this selection that's very comfortable.
All right. All right. And after that conversation, we and the thing about it is we did a Zoom and we actually did the comparisons. And so let's take a look at the final selections. How does those make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel like we did the job that we got together for,
Right.
right? And they definitely show a transition into a future you.
Right.
And like I said, even looking at the one in the middle in plum and the one in blue, they're not my normal day to day. They just represent the person and the thought that we were discussing, right? In that
Right.
thought. But I'll tell you that after we said, "Yay, yeah, you're right. Let's go with that." Well, I sent you already the very first comment on one of these pictures, which was just I knew what they represented, and I think that even my family knew what they represented. And it's good to see that person that it may be in the future come alive today.
Yeah. That comment that you got from somebody that says, yeah, it's truly an epic picture. Approachable, yet kingly. Welcome to Badass and Courageous.
Yeah, and an honest and just this morning, so I was on a audio event, and the person was sending me something to thank me. Hey, thank you for joining and things like that. But this is what the brother says: love the new profile photo, by the way.
Yeah.
Looking sharp, brother. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the photo I had on there was as equally sharp, but that's that's dominant right there. That's that guy right there in the middle. Don't he mean business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he
Right.
mean business. And for us that are entrepreneurs, it's easy to as well fall back into something that's comfortable because it doesn't generate too much friction. But I often encourage some of my coaching clients to step out of their comfort zone. And this was your version, right?
Right. Right. So I want to ask you, one of the questions that I asked you before you left is this process that I have that is different than other photographers? Like I have created a really specific methodology in how I approach this. Is this something that you believe as a leadership coach?
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend this process for other leaders and why?
Well, I would, number one, and simply for this fact, I, as a leadership coach, take people through a similar journey, except that they're going to see these pictures come alive in them. They won't ever capture a photo of the process unless they afterward go to you and take a picture, and then they'll see the difference.
Right.
You do the same thing via this photography session, and they get to capture it right then and there.
Right.
So my clients will see it gradually because I deal with internal behavioral psychological type of things, right? And it takes time. and they will see it in a tangible way by the way they are practicing their life,
Right.
how they are practicing their everyday decision. We don't get to capture something in the future like you did. And so, yes, I would recommend anyone that is going through this photographic, seeking a photo for your profile or whatever, that they just don't think of it or approach it from a one shot, one kill type of thing, but take advantage that you're capturing your image and explore the possibilities of what you will look like in the future. Because if there was anything, and I was just thinking this as I'm talking, if there was anything you want to put on your vision board, is a picture like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for being my guest today. Thank you for having this conversation. You know, stepping outside your comfort zone to be, you know, in order to grow, you have to step outside your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working out, you have to really rip the muscle in order for it to build. You know, you have to go through the process of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable is that process of stepping outside what seems familiar and okay, going beyond that. And for me, doing this show is a part of that. It's stepping outside my comfort zone. It's becoming a better version of myself. And as an expression coach, that's what I do for my clients. And if you're out there and you're looking for someone to help you become that, help you see that future you, then please reach out to me. If you're an organizational leader, you have a team of people that you want to help become better and see that future version of them in the now, please reach out to me. And Enrique, I want to thank you so much, brother. And I can't wait because we have some great things coming in the future working together. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kind words. And I just can't thank you enough, brother. So that's the show. Thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Lamonte Gwynn. I am the Expression Coach. I am so happy that you have joined me today in this discussion. And remember, in whatever you do, always, always make it a great day. Thank you so much for watching.
Hi, my name is Melanie. I came to Lamonte today to get some headshots. I'm looking to change careers and get into the pharmaceutical sales industry. And I've been really anxious and dreading the process of getting headshots just because of how uncomfortable I've always been in front of a camera. Even in my wedding photos, I'm visibly uncomfortable and awkward. But Lamonte just, immediately the process was different. He made me feel at ease and made me feel like I could just be genuine in front of the camera, and the end result was great. I've never actually seen pictures of myself looking that confident and comfortable. It was a great experience and I'm happy about it.